Tell me some stuff.
I know I sat there in his coat, and I could feel my blood boiling. Well, hell's as hot as this place, I don't want to go there.
So what's up with Stevie?
Hey, his shop is air conditioned. His house, everything he built, he has all his trucks all air conditioned. Chrysler's trucks got the two air conditioners, one in the back and one in the front, and then they got another one that's hand operated up here. He only works at night anyway, you know. I think he's out busy like he's out chasing hookers. And Kale, he hired one of those girls I rented to, and she moved in his basement, taking care of his kids. He's just out of high school. That's, hey, another thing, if you aren't 18, I said, what you're doing is against the Montana law. If some cop finds out about it, you're going to go ahead from jail. Because I had a friend, he made a mistake of screwing an 18-year-old or 17-year-old girl, and her mother told the police he did 16 years in the state pen. It's worse than murder.
So what's Steve up to now? What's Steve up to?
Well, his son got this fat cat job, sheetrock. See, what those Indians up there are the richest Indians in the world. The only ones that are richer is those Pequots in Massachusetts, and they have a little piece of ground along the west side of the Atlantic Ocean. Anyway, those fucking Indians, that's why I call them. They found out that my son is a working fool who can fix anything, but he's got a one-track mind. So years ago, he put in a seawall cost $80 a foot. It was 1,000 feet long. It was $8,000. That's why he done. But those damn Indians, he don't have to give them a bid. They take him around the lake and show him what they want done. Like all that building that Quatuck there is over 10 years old, and like half the toilets don't work and the locks are going to hell. And Steve, he has all that stuff in the back of his pickup. So he's making money. You ain't going to make no money in Colorado because they're all moving to Los Angeles. They think they can get a job down there. And of course, his wife got a car. I don't know why he don't let her drive her own car back there. He got a brand new Chrysler, Town and Country. That's what happens. You marry somebody and you get a little free fucking and you change your living, man. Pretty bad. I look at you. You're a classic example. Stevie, his problem is pussy whipped. And I'm pussy whipped too, but I got over it because my pussy died. Thank God. Otherwise, she'd probably be whipping me right now. Brainwashing me, I should say. Well, that's the history. As I told him I wanted to fix my garage door, won't shut clear down. Got all these automatic controls. All this new stuff. That new radiator tail above me is falling apart already. Do you have an electric radiator?
Pardon?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Does it still work?
Yep.
Oh. Mine just fell apart. No one fault. God damn. Those little extra plates, they don't work. Hey, They just make cuts and scabs. One thing, if you know a trade, I find out there, I goddamn boss, they don't give a damn how. They go there, dirty shirt on, they smell bad, like old man. He used to work for my dad and lived in Montana. He's originally graduated from the forestry school out here. And he was married, and years ago, his first wife got killed on an accident on Highway 2. He ran into a truck head on and killed her instantly. They just live on the east end of town. Like it says, you can't give a car away. I said, well, why the hell did you hire me then? I said, I want to know what's going on. He says, Keith, the same thing's going on with me as if you don't have a rich mother or a rich sister, you're going to go down the tube. I said, I'm down the tube. Hey, go over and look in the rear and you see who the hell I'm working for. Look at. So he walked into the bathroom. Jesus Christ, you're right. I said, what? I told you, you got a face that only a mother could love. He said, hey, I want to tell you, you know why I can't happy? The work you're doing, I can't get anybody in Missoula that even knows. And I said, I know you ain't going to tell me. I said, you're goddamn right, because I said, I've made shit like you every day. Pardon the word, but the United States is probably 20 million of them all around. This is, the only reason we went in the last war, we had the atom bomb first. Otherwise, we'd have all been dead. I said, and these goddamn cars they're a bigger pile of shit than Ford bills, but at least they had little money. Where do you think they're getting their money? From China. China's the ones that loan them money because they don't trust anybody else. They know they'll get it back if they wait long enough. Boy, they're financially secure. But name me American. I'm going to use your name. Jesus Christ. You're only 30 years younger than I am, but all Americans are broke. Especially the ones that pay their taxes, which are due. Have you got your notice yet?
I got a notice for SIDs for a stupid bunch of crap they're doing in Pineview Park.
Did they go up?
Fuck yeah.
Oh, shit. Because
Not only
Stevie's got, he's got 118,000 of my money down there, and so he's going to pay the taxes because he'll end up owning this place. He owns it now. If he wanted, he could send the cops over here, and they do just what they did to Madoff. They grab you by the throat, throw you in the back of a wagon and throw you in jail. That's the American system. And the governor of Minnesota, how they treat him worse. Yes. And I don't know what to say about that governor of Alaska. Today was her last day. I think she's going to run for some office, but so what's her name? Nothing. I thought she's going to get more votes than that. Don't make any difference. President of the United States, just like the Queen of England, she's had her head up her ass so long, she even talks like it. You know, did you ever listen to her?
Oh yeah.
Well, nobody else does. just like the President of the United States. I, anybody listening to that son of a bitch we got in there now is a waste of time. Yeah, I can't think of one thing like getting insured everybody in the United States. If anybody, I got insurance, it cost me $92 a year, and if I take out another policy, I have to pay that for 2 more years. That's per month out of my Social Security check. You're paying it too, but you got insurance, but you don't even know what the amount, so I ain't going to ask you. And you can write them a letter, they won't tell you. I'm talking about Social Security. That insurance that you got, it's all controlled by those bastards. Because I haven't figured out how it saves you any money.
It's nothing to do with even health care. It's basically about controlling the population, keeping us
Yeah.
in line. That's all it is.
Now, like this gal's husband, he's working for old Weston over in Livingston. Livingston. He built some huge shops there so he can work on 90 locomotives at one time. And but he just took off, you know, and as long as you give him a 6-day notice, they'll let you take a day off. That's good. Because everybody needs a vacation. Look at me, I need one too. But when you deal with shitheads, you know, I don't need it as often as sometimes. I remember Bill Clark one day, my friend Melby came in there, and he sits down, and Clark was reading the paper, and I already told you the story. He says, Keith, well, he says, well, why the hell you listen to that son of a bitch? He doesn't listen to anything you say. I said, well, neither do you, you son of a bitch. And nobody listens to anybody anymore. I know you'll talk to some the hired help over there, like that old gal. She can't hear a word you say. Neither can I. But we're all turned to dust. No. But my poor sister, all she talks about is dying. Well, hell. Her mother lived to be 98. She stuck her in that goddamn restaurant out in Fort Missoula. She just rolled over in about a week and died. Don't ever put anybody in one of those goddamn places.
No, hell no.
But, hey, California, the best thing in California is the state of California, that's why they're broke. They go down right in every block in California, they buy a repo building or somebody they buy the building, then they doze down, and they dig down the basement 4 feet and they have ramps, and they put a fence around it, and they rent it out to old people, and they have grocery stores, bowling alleys, and now if I had a place like that, I would feel all right. But California has one of those in every block, and anybody over that's on Social Security insurance can get in there. It's free, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, it is.
This country, in Montana, you know, well, those poor farmers, when they retire, probably got enough money to exist. Nobody has. I don't give a damn how much money you got. Look at, Ford's probably got more money in their bank account than anybody except Gates back there in Seattle. They filed bankruptcy. Chrysler, same way. LLC. LIC, the company, I got it written down. They liquidate out companies on bankruptcy. Ford, they do this, and it's all, you have to bid. And they'll loan you the money to carry you to a Chapter 11. That's a 50-50 chance you can come back if the car business picks up. I don't think that it's going to work. Because, hey, everybody I've talked to lately, to buy a new car, you're talking about $28,000 up, depending on what's make and model. She had one of those General Motors cars that run on batteries. She got rid of it. I said, hey, what's the matter with, what's wrong with that car? She said, it only do 50 miles an hour, and when the battery gets low, it only do 20. Americans all want a hot rod. I watch you go down the goddamn street like you're going out for a good piece of ass. Then when you turn a corner, I notice you slow down about the way I drive. But like that damn thing, Steve. That's town and country. The top speed's 159 miles an hour. Drive that fast in L.A. and you get 2 years in a federal pen. So it's probably have to take out bankruptcy. Boy, I'm glad I don't live there.
Tell me about when you did live there, what it was like. Tell me about what it was like when you did live in L.A.
Oh, my sister comes down there every morning about 7, 6 on me. And I don't get up till 8 or 9. I go back down, and I go over and bang on her door because she is my sister. You can't let blood relations change their attitude on death. But hey, she's healthy. I think she's going to live over 100. My mother had 2 sisters. She lived to be 90, and both those sisters, one lived to be 102, the other 105 or 106. They had those avocado orchard down in California. One thing about California, if you raise stuff and you have a bunch of Mexicans workers, you're going to make it. Because those guys only average about $1 an hour. Yeah, I wonder how this raid. I say it's going to end up. Hey, just where you're working there. I know those lower Slavonians, they'll be laying people off because they can't afford their 2 1/4. They couldn't afford the 40 cents. And I remember when Ford came out, you could buy a brand new Ford for $500. Now the truck I want is a $38,000. That's both sides bought. He's got one over there. But I told my sister, he got fighting man. She says, what's wrong with the truck you got? I said, she knows that old gal. She said, let her freeze her ass off. It's a good idea. But she said, she's a mean old bitch. She's like all women, just like you. But, hey, if I had to be a housewife, I'd get meaner than hell too. I can imagine. I'm going to call your wife and tell her he doesn't work. He's over at my house pissing me off. But I said, hey, if he doesn't show up, I worry about him. But she hasn't figured that out yet. I'm not sure I have either. That poor old girl next door, that house, her sewer plugged up and the gal moved back out and wanted her money back. And the roof was leaking. Then she traded her that GMC truck off on one of those Fords, the cheapest one built. The only reason I need a car is to get something to eat. Thanks for taking me over there.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad I got over here. So what was it like when you were working on the P-38s?
Goddamn, all those restaurants in these casinos, I see they have some good meals. They're all closed. Every one of them down here. 5 of them. Then after across Reserve Street, there's 3 more. I drove down to 3 more down where those banks are. They're closed up.
Wow.
What do you eat? You don't eat that goddamn joint you're working, do you?
I eat at home. I eat at home and I bring my lunch.
Because the goddamn food is like their goddamn stuff they
Well,
sell.
they got good food, actually. I could buy stuff in the deli. It's really good. It was just kind of pricey, so I just bring home food for lunch.
I wonder how the restaurants where we used to do, and they got a restaurant in there.
I know.
That's where I saw Clark last. He was in there having breakfast.
Probably because he lives there, across the street.
And that old gal I used to wait on, she died.
Yeah, she killed herself.
Her husband was a roofer.
Somebody told me that I ran into somebody that said that she actually committed suicide.
She probably got married already, huh?
No, I don't know what the deal was, but she killed herself. That's what I
Well,
heard.
one day, she saw me over here in this bar, and she came over, gave me a big bear hug. She was a good-looking gal, but she's got a lot of weight now. She got along with my friend Eddie Hall. You know, he was the cheapest bastard. He played a slot machine where they have those freebie breakfasts.
Mm-hmm.
And he'd poke 2 quarters in and he'd get that free breakfast. And so those guys were over here hired a lawyer and had him arrested, and they put a sign, do not let Eddie Hall and about 3 other guys on the door. Jesus Christ. Just like Bill Clark. I bet he's up at Kalispell right now.
Probably. Maybe whitefish.
Why? I was talking to, hey, I ran into a guy about a week ago over there. He was having a cup of coffee and drink. And look out there. There's a license plate with this, I think it's 54, it was Eureka. And I said, what's going on in Eureka? You know what? He said, you already told me. He said, the goddamn Canadians are coming down there in droves because our medicine is better and our grocery prices are better. I said, are you living cheaper or just thinking of? And he says, Christ, no. My taxes dropped half. I said, I've been thinking I'd move up there, but what would I do? Hey, you'd probably go to Canada after a week. And they're probably right. God, living in Missoula ain't bad. God, I straight up, since I moved out of Kalispell to Missoula, I've been here 87 years of my life. I just wonder what Kale's going to do. He's talking about getting married. I says, hey, don't listen to me, but who are you going to marry? I said, it ain't going to be an American girl. Why? I'll tell you why you all want in plain English, or do you understand? Women on divorces, if a man has a bunch of kids, he neglects them. And I said, all you have to do is find somebody that's on a second marriage with kids and ask her, ask the kids. Don't ask the woman, ask the kids. Kids are smart. Like Kayla's oldest daughter, she figured out completely changed. No. Yesterday, she's running a play over here in the school out, and I want to go because the second time everybody says she's a neat little actress. I said, Kale, I said, I'd go. And Stevie's girlfriend was standing there. I didn't want to come right out and say what I was thinking because her husband was right, and he probably had a gun to get my head blown off. Goddamn guns are dangerous. You wouldn't think so. Maybe if women have a sidearm, but they're visible, but that's legal. In Troy, the same way. You ever been up there?
Oh yeah, a long time ago.
Of course, my dad always packed a sidearm too, but that was to shoot those grizzly bears when they attack you. Probably the same way. You take sleeping pills at night?
No. I'm usually pretty
No.
tired. If it's too hot, I'll drink a beer just so I can cool down.
I think my goddamn bed, I get a new mattress. I gotta make up my mind whether I want to shit or go blind.
Well, you might move up to Polson.
I got this cotton mouth that has to get up, brush my teeth every 3 hours, and drink down a bunch of cold water. Actually forms little ice cubes right around the head of your sheet. That's old age. I tell my new doctor, one thing I found out, if new doctors don't know the answer, they aren't going to say a damn word. They just look at you like you're a pissant. No good.
Yeah, I agree.
This guy, I didn't even know Purdue had a school for nurses. They were #1 in the country. I said, well, where are all the graduates going? About 90% of them are moving out west to towns like L.A., Seattle is a good paying town. Oregon is Portland is a good town when it comes to money.
Well, they start out pretty good at.
Yeah.
In Seattle, they start everybody at $10 an hour.
After the war, I thought I was a big welder. I moved to Lake Washington. They had an outfit that was rebuilding those big trucks that haul those tanks out of Germany and North Africa. So I think the pay was about $5 an hour. That was pretty good after the war. And they fed you. They had a mess hall, and you got, help yourself, just like that smorgasbord.
Yeah.
But the trouble with Seattle, it rained all the time, every day. 60 inches. That 2 years I stayed out there, averaged about 60 inches. That's 6 times more rain than we get in a year. God, I wish it was rain here.
Well, it rained last night.
Yeah.
Did you get any rain last night?
Yeah.
Did you get any hail the night before? There was all kinds of hail coming down.
I was laying in that goddamn bed, I couldn't move. Finally got up, and I drank some of that prune juice. That worked. Hey, in about 5 minutes I went in there and got rid of it.
All right.
Prune juice is better than any anesthetic I ever had.
Yeah, it's better. It's natural.
When I first started drinking, it was 58 cents for a quart, now it's $2.58 for that small bottle.
Hmm.
Anything with groceries is higher than hell. And beer, I noticed, is up too.
Yeah.
Why? Good thing I gave up drinking. I don't think I could afford those $3 beers anymore.
No, I buy a 6-pack of Coors once in a while. It's about $5.
I see university now you can buy beer at the game.
I heard that.
You have to have a card. They check you out to make sure you haven't murdered a bunch of people.
They probably saw how much people were drinking for free. They figured they could make some money.
And I mean, that little town, that other college town over there, they serve beer over there too.
Bozeman?
In Colorado State does.
Oh yeah.
Hell, they couldn't run without that damn beer. I can remember in 32 in Chicago, you'd get a glass of beer for 10 cents, 20-ounce glass.
Huh.
That was the World's Fair. Then it ran again in 33. That's when I was driving them stolen cars.
Oh yeah, tell me about that.
Chevrolet.
You're driving them from where?
Hey, there's one thing about all the fire halls, there's a fire hall on every corner. They had soup kitchen, and they had a pot of Irish stew. And you go in there, and they even give you crackers. So, everybody was out of work. They go down to a fire hall and bring their kids, and they always had the old beer, or one day old bread and donuts. And they ate better than the goddamn McDonald's does. I'm talking about good food. Then the meat outfit closed. Then they used to send all our bad steaks out there to the fire hall, and you could get a steak about a 4 ounce. I'll tell you, at home my mother never had red meat because it was, even in those days it was higher than hell. Hey, them black Angus steaks down at Wisdom right now are probably $6 a pound. Boy, that old gal, actually, I was telling her what a nice place, the big old bay. So her boyfriend took her down there, and they had breakfast at Wisdom. I says, you can eat that goddamn steak, it's sure it's free. So I said, hey, hey, go ahead and lie. How'd you make out on that steak here? Shit, that was a 25-ounce steak. I only carved off a couple edges. It cost me $25. I said, I told you couldn't afford it, goddammit. I says, you're gonna be working this goddamn crappy restaurant for your restaurant and close the rest of town.
Which one?
Where you eat.
Oh, that's right. They did. That place that had the.
Hey,
what happened? They had all the barbecue and
hey,
everything.
That guy that was buying all that equipment. It cost him. He had bills for $600. They don't want it back because it's obsolete now. He fell off a ladder, broke his right leg right here.
Oh, geez, that's too bad.
Busted his arm right here. And he was in a hospital over a month. And then he got a new car. The first day he had it, they went up to City Lake and he hit a deer and it totaled it out. That's life runs in bunches.
Yep.
This is one of those. He was a Honda. He got a American-built car. I told him. I said, "Hey, listen, you big asshole. Are you listening to me? If you don't buy American automobiles, this country's going to go under." And the next day I went out and bought an American car. And I said, "Hey, that car you got, those Hondas are, it's just like a Ford car. they advertise all that shit. I says, they're only good to somebody that can do his own work. I said, you know, I had 3 of the goddamn things. They said if they sold these in Russia, they'd take you out and line you up with a firing squad. I think I'll write the Russians a letter and tell them where you are. Goddamn Russians hate us too. Only the women like Americans. The women ferry command in Russia was all women. Most of them are average age of 17. Women pilots her. I seen one the other day, she looked like a Russian who was working for Northwest. It's hard to tell what nationality it is. I noticed this morning, there's a couple of black guys back there. I've never figured that joint out. The inverted W. Well, every day they help change it. That old gal I stopped and talked to her, she's been there since the day I can remember. She likes to talk. Once you get her, I know she took off.
She was in a hurry to beat the traffic so she could cross the street. That's why she left.
Oh.
She said that the traffic was going to get too busy to cross, so she was, you know, going to go across early. I don't blame her.
She's the oldest helper.
Yep, she's been there for a long time.
Oh, I know my girlfriend.
Yeah, when Hardy's closed, that's where I went.
Sunday, you know, and now they got this milkshake you can order, any size milkshake, and they're already made up.
Oh, cool.
I ordered a strawberry yesterday, and a medium. That took me an hour to drink it.
All right.
The machine sits right on the counter on the north end. But hell, if that place wasn't there, I'd have been dead about 25 years ago. But at least I wouldn't have to put up with those son of a bitches you're working for. But I know it don't bother you because you don't understand what I'm talking about. I had a boss that Tom Wicks was just like all these boss, just like this boss I'm working for now.
Yeah, but you didn't make.
As long as I showed up at 8 o'clock, and I made a mistake of going out and drinking with him once, and that was the end of that. You can't go out and drink with your boss.
No, that's not a good
His dad
idea.
owned the place. He went down to the Montana bank there, but the one on the corner. That's the one they got over here.
Yeah.
He borrowed $100,000 and lost it all. He sent these guys to take the cure and they never get the money back. And all Americans are that way. I says, you're just lucky that he didn't go bankrupt before you even got the money borrowed. And they owned that money. But then the guy that loaned the money, they come out and repossess it. They made that into one of those. They put it in this glass floor. And they hired a good band and they lasted about a year. One of those fancy dancers. You even look up underneath the girls from down the basement. That used to be a 3-story building.
Yeah, they had Matador in there for a long time.
I worked for that S&B 11 years. He was drunk every day. He's the one. That's why my first. You ain't telling me what. I'd like to know what's your Social Security. Mine, I'll tell you what. My last one is $324, but I've been on Social Security since I was 60 years old. You ain't gonna tell me. And I know if you tell me, it'll be a goddamn lie anyway. Just. How much are you getting Social Security?
I'll show you after we're done talking.
Yeah, I want to know how much to take off the top.
Well, I've got,
That's the reason I'm trying to find this out is I know that our government is crooked as a corkscrew, but I know you're afraid if your wife finds out about it, she'd probably hire a lawyer and lock you up.
well, she knows. She's the one that
Maybe
checks it out.
I,
It's direct deposited.
I can figure it out because my mind is pretty goddamn sharp. I know what the price of gas in Honolulu this morning for number one gas at $4.90. That's the number.
Oh, Jesus.
It's about it's about $4.70 here. But another is San Francisco. They have to bring everything in by boat. But hey, the average American don't know. He doesn't even know what a good pork costs anymore. I know what it cost me, $80. And so that's why I want my money, because I get a big piece of ass, you know. But hey, the only reason I lent it to you is such a pathetic son of a bitch. I didn't want to be responsible for what happened over there.
What happened over where?
I had to put up with that goddamn hot bastard you left me in. Then my battery was leaking and it pissed my pants. But I know that you do it every goddamn time, so now I ain't gonna fall for it anymore.
Okay.
Except to go over to McDonald's. But
So tell me
I
more.
don't think that place is gonna last much longer either.
Tell me about.
Yeah.
Tell me.
This runs you like anybody that's short terms you, and Lucky did that to me for 3 years. And you have to fight them, and now they're getting the goddamn. If the unions get in there, and you open your fat mouth, you'll be through. They did that. They used to fire me every day because I stand there and call the boss a shithead. And the next, I get this deal with a green card. And hey, at noon they call me up. They know I'd hop a freight and go home, or hitch a ride. But hey, one thing about unions, they got money and they don't give a damn what you think. I can't believe that. Like, what the hell are they going to gain? Those unions are after your money.
Yep, they sure are. So tell me.
Find out when your union, if you don't take their goddamn insurance, you'll get canned. They used to do that to me down there on the railroad. This was a Pullman union. Now the head engines, the engineer and the front end crew never belonged to union. They were a different breed. Except when it comes to hitting corners too fast and ending up in the Missoula River. Because the only thing I was lucky I could swim pretty good, I thought. But it's pretty hard to swim with a locomotive and a bunch of boxcars coming in the river out there. Just lucky.
So tell me about the P-38s.
Huh?
When you were making the P-38 fighter plane.
I was just lucky. Hey, I'll tell you how I got in there. My wife, I said, she can run an IBM. See, she learned that right here in Missoula. And so I went down there. I had passes on railroad passes. And I was in that civilian pilot training, which is an entirely different. The military could tell you what they thought, but it was run by a bunch of those high monkey mucks in Lockheed. And so foreigner came down on my dad's pass, and she got on. IBM was the whole company, and she was the boss's daughter. I think it was a prostitute, but I can't. Hey, doesn't make any difference. Probably why I didn't get fucked to death. Anyway, one day she comes across the field. I was working right on the assembly line on the east end. Here comes my wife. She was a good dresser and a pretty good looking girl. She says, Keith, hey, tonight, go up. His name was Seldom Rhodes. And he says, go up and talk to the next, and she said, they got an opening in the P-38 section. And I said, doing what? And he says, what's your good at tune-up? He says, it's all done by machinery, airplanes. They don't want you smoking, and they don't want you to put your greasy hands on anything. It's all done with IBM machines, and there still is too, probably. So I went up there, and I had a friend that moved in with me. His name was Don Golden, and Bud Murdo come down. He moved in. He wasn't married then, and Dan said, "Hey, I want you to know your wife was honking her boss's son." He says, "That's none of my goddamn business. How many girls you fucking every night?" I know he had a mattress in the back of his car, and that shut him up. But anyway, that was the best job I ever got, because that's where I learned to use this machine that was built by IBM. I just, hey, everything's done with machine lately. God. I mean, if it wasn't for machinery, I don't think this world had ever made it.
Well, tell me about the P-38s.
Yeah.
Tell me about the P-38s.
Incidentally, according to, one day I got mad. I asked the boss's son. He was a neat guy, and I don't think he was screwing my wife because I don't think he had time. Because by then there was 85,000 people worked. They had three companies. They made 2 light airplanes, P-38, and a couple of those commercial jobs that turbine that the Northwest was flying, the tail fell off. But hey, and my wife was the one that got me in. See, it all started at Johnson Flying Service and Purdue. They had a flying service, and so that's my wife. There's a guy named Powers was running this mess, and that's how I got in that civilian pilot training deal. Just lucky. Because I was working in that goddamn garage for Tom Works. It had a furnace. In the wintertime, it got down to about 40 in there, and I always had a cold. The only thing that bothered me, I wanted to buy one of those. They had a few left over. I wanted to buy one of those P-38s and fly it home. Because they flew just like a Piper Cub. But that's against the law. Yeah. Nobody could buy a surplus military plane unless they had somebody working for the government. Ain't right. Oh, like all kinds, there's only 2 of them that actually fly anymore. Jesus. I wonder what's going to happen to us when we get in the war with China. They're probably saving all those old planes. Frankly, I don't think China will ever make the move on us. Why? Because the Russians are on our side, and Russia would just love to tromp on those damn Chinese and the Japanese. But that's ain't got anything to do with military. That's our own damn mistakes. That goddamn war, and that Vietnam War was in this war we're in now was the biggest mistake we've ever made. Because between the three of them, a lot of good Americans lost their lives. And what good did it do? Now, all the son of the bitches are buying, hey, they're buying Japanese cars. Ford's a Japanese car. So is Chrysler, as far as I'm concerned. And so is the GMCs. Our goddamn system of government. And Jesus Christ, I'm a Republican, and I have to go hungry in the morning because I'm scared to drive over there. Thank God for Ford. hey, I was just thinking, if somebody comes up there, I know, just didn't look out and you drove up. I believe in ESP.
Well, I'm glad I came over.
That's extra short, Peter.
I'm glad I came over.
I tell my Hannah, I got ESP. And I says, listen, I don't want you to say what extra short, Peter. Myrtle, you better. That's 11 millimeters. That's really short, Peter. He says, I'm not interested in Peters because I don't want to have any kids. I wonder what, she's a pretty neat gal. But she used to, I don't know, she used to tell me these horror stories about her dad was an alcoholic. And he'd come home and beat her, and I figured it was alive. So one day, just, come over, I'm going to take you in a woman's can and lock the door. I said, do that, you want to take all your clothes off? No. Just, I'm going to prove it to you about getting hit in the back with a big. She had these marks, just like when you beat somebody with a baseball, it makes a mark, and it never goes away. It disables you. And, they have to sand them off. She had those marks all over her back. I said, hey, Instantly, how did you get those? I said, my dad he'd come home drunk, and my mother was an alcoholic. They'd both beat me up. And she said, that's why I don't want to have any kids. Cause I said, hey, listen, you're the only one that can get out of this, goddamn it. Anything I tell you isn't going to help you a bit. My dad used to beat me too, and because I used to give my mother a bad time over the rotten food I got. But I said, hey, when you get over that, there's lots of nice guys. And even some of them hold down jobs forever. He says, oh, I haven't met him yet. Well, what about this guy you're shacking up with? Oh, he's working for Dennis Wesley too. But, hey, he bought a house over here. Anybody that gets a good heart on it doesn't have any trouble getting a girlfriend. Look at Kale. His dad was married 5 times. All his ex-wives live over in Coeur d'Alene and one in Missoula. The other one died, that was my daughter. But that was a clean war, actually. Hey, somebody took away my oil supply back at the time, 91. I'd have done the same thing for about 20 minutes. If we get the right guy to say, go ahead. Well, look what we did to those Japs. Then we did to about 2 countries over in Europe. Hey, I can't think of any war we really won. Like the first war, the Germans sub-sank the Lusitania. So we went after them. It cost 161,000 American lives. These are all kids that or just out of high school. I still say any kid has a right to live as long as I have, as long as he gets his mouth sewed up. Yeah, at the time we had that French military argument, we could have hired them to do our fighting, but we'd still be paying them, but that's better than dying. Of course. Hey, the old Army Air Force was all, I was the oldest, they used to call me Grandpa. I was 26 when I went in, they called me Grandpa. Which I was. But the guys that run the war training service, either are guys about average age or I'm 40, just out of university. And the trouble is, you got everything was in writing, and if you didn't do what they told you, they'd bounce you out. Just like working for IBM. My poor wife got bounced out of that job out of here. They did all our payroll. IBM in those days was the company, about like General Motors is today. And I ain't crossing it. I think Ford is still in there too. Hey, my problem was when I bought those Fords, there wasn't anybody who knew how to work on them. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know anybody in Missoula that can tune a Ford up properly. They'll try because they need the money to buy booze and sex. Shit. There was one good old mechanic down here on South Avenue. That Ford Ranger, I bought it from this lot. It only had about 1,200 miles on it totally. It wouldn't start in the morning and it was only getting 9 miles to gallon. So I'd heard about this old guy. I told my daughter, I said, "You're a car, take it down to this guy." She did. I got a bill, $700. Guess what? That goddamn thing. When I sold it to a kid, I didn't explain to him this son of a bitch will go like hell, but had these Ford brakes, they must have been designed from somebody from where you were. He'd get up to 140 miles to, and it was fast, but
where did he get?
brake.
Where did he get up to 140?
Yeah.
What road?
What? Well, the guy that bought it.
No, what road was he driving 140?
That white one.
I know, but what road was he on?
Huh?
What road was he driving on?
He was right out here on 93.
Oh, geez.
About 5 miles past Lowell.
Holy
He was going to Hamilton, they said.
He's going like a bat out of hell, huh?
Hey, some guy, he wasn't over the center, he's right on the center line. Well, hell, that highway was wide enough to get around him if he'd moved over.
But he didn't?
But one thing, light automobiles, you get, hey, sideswipe, you get hurt bad. But 93 is a dangerous road.
Yeah, it always has been. They used to have the bumper stickers, "Pray for me, I drive 93."
Well, I used to go up there often. When I had that flying club, I'd fly, and the airport is right next door to where my son's wife lived. And I'd land at the airport and walk over to her house. It was right at the end of the northern and south runway on the south end, Virginia. she's married to my brother Gene, and they got married in university. She was she was the number one girl on there. They had these deals. She was Miss Montana. My son had this band. They were all brass band. And her daddy worked for the Bell Telephone. One day he came over with, he was moving from Pennsylvania down here, and he had a check for $2.5 million. Well, she was a nice girl, never gambled, never drank. She got on them. After that, she moved into that one of those clubs, one-arm bands. That's all she did. She's probably sitting in one right now. Then her mother got fed up with Missoula, then moved and moved to Miami. And one day, she came out of one of those grocery stores, and some big black guy mugged her and knocked her down and bruised her chest. He just dumped her house and didn't even bear herself, moved back to Hamilton. And that's when her dad bought Virginia a Stradivarius, $60,000. She can play a Stradivarius. That makes me cry. She's also a very talented piano player, and she can do just about any instrument. Not first class, but bass viol. She's good on bass viols. She's also good at gambling. I used to go up there, take her down to that club, and give her a $20 bill. She'd always win. She knew how to. She'd wait till somebody quit playing one machine, and then she'd go over, and she knew it was ready to pop.
That's how my dad paid for a vacation in Sun Valley. He would watch and see how long somebody would be playing the slot machines. He'd go over there and put a couple silver dollars in. He paid for his vacation that way because he figured out how many times they'd play, and then he'd go to that machine.
I used to do the same thing.
Yeah.
There used to be a couple of bars downtown. One was on Front Street. That was easy. Everyone has a different payoff. And when you're in high school, you learn if they don't kick you out. They hate kids in their goddamn slot machine company. But I learned you figure out, you sit on a bar stool. Some old women will come in with a paycheck and poke the whole thing in there, and if you got a $20 bill, you can cash it, and you might get $50 back, or you might hit a jackpot.
Or you might lose it all.
My friend Bud Myrtle had an office right next door to this place. He used to come over there every morning, and he always I looked after him when the war was over, the last war, and my mother's house down here, and I built him a room in the basement and a place he could take a bath. He was from Lapland.
Mm-hmm.
Lapland is right on the north end of Norway. It's a piece of ground about half a mile wide that runs clear across the north end of Norway. He was driving a Model A Ford. He drove down his finger right in front of my face. I'm in 1 gallon of gas. So he handed me a quarter, so I had a bunch of change. Actually, I think I put over $1 worth of gas in. But I brought him out here and I built him a basement apartment. There's a place to live. So and he bought his gas insurance, and he got to pay the IRS $90,000. First year he was the number one insurance. The only company he didn't insure was Anaconda, and there was guys up in Rodan, a lumber company. Then he came down there and lived with me, Dodging the draft.
Down in L.A.?
Oh, of course.
When you were working at Lockheed?
Yeah. Well, My ex-wife was, I found out she's probably making $6,000 a month because I don't know anybody that's got brains enough to run an IBM machine. She learned that, took her 3 years. And then when she graduated, her dad died, and then her mother ended up in a hospital with lung cancer. Then she made a mistake of marrying me.
What do you mean the mistake?
That's,
Takes
that's when I built her that house. But hey, that Bud, or the second year after the war is over, I always told her, I built this big house up on the hill, and I was going to sell it to this Monahan for 15 grand. I always did everything on a handshake. But hey, he got a lot of extras. He had a very big 4-foot square jacuzzi, and they put in walnut floors instead of the softwood. And then I threw in a swimming pool on the back Olympic. So when the day come, I got it done. And it took me a year and 4 months to build it because I couldn't hire any help. They had a bunch of, hey, I hate to use the word shit, but those goddamn union carpenters, they didn't even have their head up their ass because they didn't know where it was. So I built that whole house, and this is after I got through with dryers. And so he didn't want it, 15,000, you know. So one day I was putting his hardwood floors went down with wood pegs. He drilled and he tried to peg in. And I did Bud a lot of favors. One thing I done, take him over to alcohol cure 3 times, once in Bozeman, once in Helena, and twice in Seattle. And I got down on my hands and knees. He said, just like I'm doing at Kale now, I'm smoking cigarettes. Because that's what my friend died from, Hall, lung cancer. And I said, hey, Jesus Christ, I'll give you the name of 100 vices. I already know when I'm eating pussy, that's number one. And good vodka, Seletnica vodka, I guarantee, that'll knock you off in about a year. So he got on that, and sure enough, 2 years later he's dead. Because that was about 80 proof vodka. But it cost $24 a bottle too. I don't know what it costs now. You ever drank any of that?
Yeah, remember when you when Bill Clark brought you a bottle of Stolney over when we were having coffee over at the Buy Low, and you poured a little bit of it in my coffee cup, and I drank it. It was really smooth, actually. I was surprised at how smooth it was. It was just really, it was like velvet. Because most vodka is usually kind of harsh, you know.
Hey, I say, there's at least 3 things, right? The Russians build better airplanes than we do. I'm talking about longevity over frozen ground. And when it comes to drinks, a good quality drinking, I don't know. I never drank any Russian vodka over there. But it's got to be good because they're the number 1 sellers year after year. And then Russians. Russians, you go in there, the food is about as good as you're going to get.
Depends on what
restaurant. I went in there after the war was over. That's when they built that underground railroad. My sister took me over to France. We took the underground railroad over to Moscow. Because, hey, over there, those people are all overweight. Legs are about like that. You know. They look about like you. I call them fat asses, you know. But don't even say anything to overweight people because they ain't going to do anything about it anyway.
I know. It's sad. I'm a little bit overweight. I need to lose some weight. I know that.
If I had money and Dennis Washington said, sooner or later they're going to build a bridge from Alaska to Russia. It's only 15 miles. They've already know how to do that.
Oh, sure.
But the Russians want us to put it in, and they don't want to pay for it.
Well, we might as well. What the hell?
They're a bunch of cheap bastards, you know. But hey, I'm used to cheap bastards, so it don't bother me too much.
That'd be a good thing. Just have a.
But the Russian women are not. Hey, that one pilot that was with the Russian ferry command. Of course, she was only 18 when she left. That was when the war was over. But basically, I think the Russians are like the people who live in Chicago and New York when they aren't shooting somebody.
Well, right now they say it's pretty. Moscow is pretty much like a Wild West, because the KGB and the old Russian mafia got together, and they're what's running the country now.
Well, first of all, the reason I got to know Russians, see, our joint was a junior college in Phoenix, and right next to it, the ferry command was right, the building's right up against our, and they ate in our mess hall. All right, our government was out to make money. So we treated those Russian ferry pirates about like they probably treat the Queen of England.
Well,
But hey, you know, if it wasn't for us, Russia would have been gone long ago. And
yeah, but the thing that's you're right.
Rid of those goddamn shitheads.
Yeah, but
and now they're still trying to work us over.
Yeah.
Especially France. But see, Armstrong lost out.
He came in third. That's pretty good for a guy.
Yeah.
He's only.
Right when you consider his age.
Yeah, that's a damn good.
And he retired.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, he'll be back.
Probably.
So that guy in Butte.
Yeah, that guy in Butte broke his wrist when he got into a wreck.
He really got messed up in that last.
Yeah.
Yeah, the leg looked like his leg is broke right there.
Well,
Butte. Hey, anybody could pedal a bike around that town has got to be good. You know?
Yeah.
It's like you grew up in the Alps and build a highway. Especially on March the 17th.
Tell me about
After you're over there.
Tell me about when you were over in Northern Africa.
Huh?
When you were in North Africa.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, that you know, in the military, I better explain to you. I had only when he was the best pilot. He lived to be my age, and he flew in all kinds of weather. And so, I was down in California when that program, that Marie Earhart, that was Ferry Command in hauling airplanes to foreign countries. So they cut that program. When she got lost in the Pacific, and around, the war was only about a year old, and she got flying with some son of a bitch that didn't know how to fly, and she got lost. So they closed the program down. So I had a choice of going back to flying Liberator or those airplanes that fly in the air with no motors.
Gliders.
To drop through. So by then I'd been transferred down to Mississippi, where B-17, that was at Biloxi, Mississippi. And, which is a good thing, because that's what I ended up in. I didn't have to fly none of that shit that Ford Motor made, but that's why, because the guys that flew them goddamn thing got shot on by the Germans. They're like a Ford car, they're a pile of shit. But I don't expect you to know it. But, have you ever been working? You never worked on one of them, I can tell that by the one that burned up. But anyway, none of my business. So I didn't want to go to those gutters, so I ended up those four-motor airplanes were built by some pretty good guys, as good as probably any that those guys built. So I ended up, took 4 landings, took us 4 days of flying to get right to the tip, the Brazili. It's right on a clear day. You could see the Mediterranean was right out there, and then on a clear day, you could see the smoke rising up from the Plessy oil field. Well, the problem is I learned to fly bombers, so one day you either do what they tell you to do or you end up peeling potatoes. So they rounded up all around every airplane they could get from England and France, and they decided to go bomb it. The Plessy oil field was where the Germans was getting all the oil. So these goddamn assholes, I'm talking about those military bastards, hey, that's why there's more assholes than there are horses. And this was a beautiful weather, and they said, we're going over and wipe out Plessy. In the straight line is probably 300 miles right to the north and a little bit to the west. So they round up Lancasters and Manchesters, and they had a bunch of P-38s. That P-38 could carry 7 pounds of bomb. And they went over and they wiped the Plessy oil fields. That was right in the middle. That was just before those damn Germans were fighting the Russians. So they didn't have no oil for the airplanes, and they had to go to horses. And that's when they were pushing all those people, incinerating them. That was a big mistake too. But hey, you know, at least, the air bases were all made out of they laid down steel, and they mixed it with dirt and put concrete in with it. And those African air bases were pretty good compared to what we got in this country. And of course, that air base, about 1% white people and all the rest of them were black. And those native Africans were a lot of them in the war over there. There's probably be a lot in the next war. That's just lucky. I never figured, after about, before I was all over the country learning flying in bad weather, I actually learned to do my bad flying right in Denver. Then we ended up out of Seattle, Washington in rainy weather. And hey, I was on air bases that were on mountaintop, and I got pretty goddamn good at some of the flying I did. I don't think it'd hold a candle today because everything's done with instruments. In those days, the instruments were rotten. About like in that car of yours, nothing worked. The heater don't work. Nothing worked. God damn it. It's all right if you don't have to sit in it when it's about 140 degrees. Well, I got over that. But, oh yeah. But when I got to Africa, over there, the town of Brazili, every other building was just like a bar. They were about like in England, a long bar, and they had fans. They didn't have air conditioning. So I go in there. The first day I was over there, I had a bunch of goddamn checks on military, and those checks were hard to cash. So I said to the bartender, I got some checks here. I said, he said, here's a black girl. I had 3 black little kids. And I says, I want to buy that gal a drink, but this check was only for a little over $100 because the pay, overseas pay was only 125 a month. Then, I don't know what it is now. He says, go out the back door. And everybody warned, don't do that. They got guys out there, they're going to knock your head. Sure enough, bunch of those guys attack you, they get you down, and they try to steal that check. But I ran across the street, and I made it to the door on the other side. And that guy, hey, I said, I had one of these certified deals that my credit was pretty good, written by the President of the United States. So he cashed it at 100. So I came back and I bought those kids a Coke or equivalent and their mother. She was black, but hey, all black people that real they're good looking, just like the white girls are in this country. And, but you know, I know they were hungry, so I had about $3 or $4 in my wallet, but I was saving because, hey, when you get hungry over there, you can't go to a mess hall unless you got about 100 air bases, and they only feed a guy that has proof that he lives there, and he's a military that lives there. Anyway, and they had some kind of like a fish sandwich. I bought her 3 kids, and Jesus Christ, that was a big mistake. Wars are all a big mistake. Can't hold a candle out of Vietnam War though. Jesus, they straightened his mess out. You know, I got a feeling that, you know, we've got a lot of ex-presidents. Now, every one of them are getting advice, whether it's right or not. But, hey, some of the stuff they're doing is right. And I shouldn't say anything that Obama does even compare to that son of a bitch Republican that just went out. Good thing he isn't in Russia, he plays a firing squad. God. I think if it wasn't for him, all those car companies would still be going on their own.
Well, don't blame that on Bush.
Should have, hey, I don't know where the hell they learned all that stuff. And he never talks about it either. I mean, he had one story for TV and another story for who else listened. This is a tough damn country, I think. But can't hold a candle to Butte on March the 17th.
That's for sure.
I used to go over there, but I got tired of bruised eyeballs and broken glasses. I think now they monitor it better too. Of course, the reason I went to Butte is my dad had an office right across from the M&M. You know where that is?
Yep, I've been there.
And then some Martians went out and burned down a whole block and 2 theaters on the other side of the street. And they moved the NP Land Department to Missoula in the Missoula Hotel. He had a girlfriend, and she moved over here with him. And it was the boss's daughter. Redhead. I don't know what was going on there. Well, Dad, he was sort of a semi-philanthropist, and you know that when this happened, they had this earthquake, and the office building fell down and killed a couple of people, and Dad wasn't working that day, or he'd have been dead too. He was right across from the NP depot. This was about a 56 number, and it was an old brick building with the bricks that were made in Missoula. It all fell in. Of course, that's goddamn chewing tobacco killed him anyway.
Tell me about when he worked in the quarries in Maine.
Huh?
When he worked in the quarries for granite and marble.
I can't hear you.
When they worked in the quarries in Maine for the granite
Yeah.
and the marble, and they used to build all that stuff for the buildings.
Did you say Troy?
No, you showed me a book that showed people
Well,
working on
I've
granite.
been down a little lower. I go put my hearing aid in. But
Well, that's all right. Doesn't matter.
raise your voice a little.
Okay. When he was working in Maine with the granite.
Oh, my dad? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. My dad, well, he was a Pequot Indian. He got a check. I know. The Pequots are, at the time, were the richest Indian. He lived on an island, of Vinyl Haven, was the main town. And he originally came from England. They had these marble cores and that other stuff, and they chip a big chunk of that away, about 20 tons. And they put it on a ship and sent it over to San Francisco and made it into Greystone. And Dad got fed up, and so they finally got the NP Railroad built in Butte. So he hopped on and came to Butte by rail. Then they put through the Homestead Act, that's where you could get 180 acres of ground. So he had a brother-in-law that was getting a divorce in Butte, and they got on horseback and rode up the Yak River and developed two homesteads back to back. And that was in 1988. 1905, the old, what's his name, guy that started the Forest Service, Dad got on as a smoke chaser, $30 a month, and he had to furnish his own horses. And the next day, Forest Service under a different Pinchot. And in those days, the Forest Service was a law. The Sheriff's Department was about like the military is now. They write their own ticket. But Dad, the first job was in Kalispell in 1905, and that was Kootenai National Forest. Then he got on part-time as a fire warden for Great Northern Pacific, the railroad that connected with the Canadian railroads. I'll think of the name of it anyway. Union Pacific bought them out, and so Dad got on. The supervisor of Kalispell was the Flathead, and Libby was a Kootenai, and they were 17 miles apart, and they had a rail, and so they didn't go by car, they went down there by rail. Of course, in those days, my dad, he could build a barn out of tamarack, and so his sideline was building barns all over. They're still there, most of them that haven't fallen down. All in the Yak River. Yak River runs from Troy to the Canadian border. Poor Dad.
He saved the Ross Forest, didn't he?
Oh yeah, he was a good builder though.
What happened when he caught those guys trying to cut down the cedars?
Say that again?
When he was at the Ross National Forest.
Huh?
Tell me about the Ross National Forest where the cedars are.
Oh, well, I want to tell you what really happened, because I'm going to write a book about you too. But the problem is that it'll cause you to divorce.
It's 2 million. You got 2
I ain't going to
minutes.
print those lies you're telling me. I'm going to put the truth, because I've checked you out.
Okay, good. Just
All I have to do
tell me about
time to the bars, and there's guys in there who remember.
tell me about the Ross National Forest. I only got 2 minutes.
Okay. Anyway. The problem is, well, my dad was in the Forest Service. Libby, he was a second degree Mason. He started a Masonic Lodge. My mother started a Presbyterian Church. And Libby was just a 1 hour. Then she also started the library. She was one of these do-gooders. And Dad, well, you know, and Libby used to get snow 6 feet deep. Wintertime you shovel snow. Otherwise you couldn't get out of your house door. it's a little better now, I guess. But then the upper end, I could, oh, see, the valley up in the upper end, there was a bunch of Eastern, South Carolinians, women that smoked pipe. They moved in there, and they used to start forest fires. This is just, and so my dad got wise to that, and he hired all of them, put them on a payroll, and that stopped. They started that 1910 fire part of it, but the rest of it was done with lightning. That burned up the whole northern Idaho and half western Montana. And he was in on that. He lucked out again. There's 125 Americans died in Kellogg, Idaho. And it could happen today.
Sure could.
Who the hell put the fire out? Just like those guys out there that run that story. Just like what you went through the other day over there. I'm trying to get groceries, I give you $100 bill. And you said you made up this story about, I want my, y'all probably already spent it. I think you probably went to around the corner, there's a whorehouse in the back.
Yeah, well, that's where I spent it.
I'd like to know what you did with that $100. It'd be interesting.
I bought some of the tape that we're working on right now.
Oh shit!
I bought some food.
I thought you was getting paid out there. I thought oh well, it does. Hey, they probably don't know the difference anyway.